The master editor. Hi, Davey here, and we're in my home this evening, and you're welcome here. Glad to have you. And I'm here with some friends tonight. We're going to talk about some things. And before we really get started, I had a couple of thoughts that came up today in a parenting workshop that I was doing that I wanted to share with you right off the bat. And wanted to talk to you about one of the things that comes up a lot when I talk with parents that I think actually is fairly significant, just real quickly, is the idea of what's your goal as a parent. And it was interesting today as I presented this idea to some parents, to actually a whole room full of parents, is we went around the room and talked with some parents. We had a lot of really great ideas about what their goal as parents is. And they really didn't know. And it was interesting because we thought about it. A lot of parents there were owners of companies and worked in high positions in companies, and most of them were quite familiar with the idea of mission statements and goal statements and things like that. And these were folks that had worked in industries and things like that, and they all had kids, kids that we've been working with. And they all kind of had a general idea of what they wanted to do with their kids, but none of them really had a clear notion of what their goal was in raising their kids. They all said things like, well, we want them to be happy. I asked them what that meant. They didn't really know. They all said things like they wanted them to be productive citizens. And I said, what's that mean? They didn't really know. They wanted them to be able to make money and to be happy and at peace. And those were all lofty goals, but they couldn't really tell me what that meant. So I threw out a different idea, but it was interesting as we persisted in the discussion. It went from what the parents could do for their child into more of a focus on what the child could do for themselves. And what emerged from the discussion was an idea that the goal of parenthood really is to help their kids learn to manage their own behavior. That it wasn't so much to get their children to obey or to be good or to do what they're told or things like that, which is what we typically think of when kids are little, that we just want them to do what we want them to do. I mean, you think about that, when they're little, we want to get them to walk and talk, and then we spend the rest of their lives trying to get them to sit down and shut up. But what we really want to do as parents is to get them to learn to manage their own behavior. What we really want to do is to work ourselves out of a job. We want to do a good enough job as parents that they don't need us. We want to do a good enough job that somewhere along the way, whenever that is, sometime after the age of 18 or 19 or 20 or 25 or 30 or whenever that is, that they don't need us anymore. Hopefully they'll still want us. Hopefully they'll still come back for Sunday dinner and still come back and bring the grandkids and spend some time with us. But if we've done a good enough job as parents, they won't really need us. And I just wanted to share that with us, with each of you tonight, as an idea for you to consider. That your job as a parent is to teach your kid to manage their own behavior, to work yourself out of a job so that they no longer need you, so that they want you, but they don't need you. Think about that as you're providing discipline, and as we continue to provide you with information and ideas about parenting, I'd like you to have that in the back of your mind. Now, your job is to help them learn to not need you. This is Davey. Thanks for being here.